have some questions to ask.
Sure.
Why is going to church important?
Why is it important? Well, it's about really dedicating some time for yourself, being closer to God, enriching yourself, getting communion is really important. And it's really around making sure that you're leading a very good Catholic life, both for you and for your family. And I think as a parent, it's also very important to provide guidance, right? So lots of kids, I think, can be lost when they have parents that aren't really giving them that type of values. And I think that's why one of the reasons it's really important for not only for yourself and to hear the sermons, but also for your family.
How does the church help the community?
Wow. The church helps the community in a lot of ways. I think most people just think, it's just the church, you go on Sunday, but really the church is a thriving organization that's in the community constantly. I think, in our parish, it's very, very active. So it's not only through spiritual guidance, but oftentimes there's different situations where that spiritual guidance isn't necessarily at church during Mass on a Sunday, but continuously, whether it's through rosaries or other readings that they have, or when people are sick, they go to their homes, they go to hospitals. It's really also serves as community outreach. A lot of times the church is providing not only support to the parishioners, but also needy. I mean, you know very well, because we've done certain things in the community to support the outside of just really the church, but really provide. And I think that the church overall serves as a beacon. When there's challenging times, we hear in Mass around, difficult things that might be going on in the world, and they provide some sense of support and guidance for all of us. So really the church it's there to serve the community in so many ways. And I think those are some of them.
In your opinion, should you go to church every Sunday?
Okay, so I'm very practical about things, and I do think ideally yes, but practicality that doesn't always occur. Right? Me for one, very well that sometimes I'm traveling constantly, and you can't. I mean, there's just certain things that you don't have it regularly to be going, and there's other things that occur in your life. But I think the most important thing is making sure that one, you don't feel a sense of guilt or a hang-up, right? But to know that even though you may not be at Mass, take the time to pray, take the time to, be close to God, and sure, it's important to congregate and be together and to learn. But ideally, yes, but I don't think it's as necessary, let's say, right? Because there's people who unfortunately they can't because of a sickness or whatever, but you should always make it time so that you enrich yourself and be reminded, you have communion and you listen to what's happening, you listen to the sermons, and that's how I think you lead a very positive Catholic life.
Do you think it's possible to be spiritual but not religious?
I mean, that's a fundamental question, right? So it's a hard one to say, because being religious, I'm both religious and spiritual, right? But I would say religion in its form, like as an organization, as a structure, one can say, "Oh, I'm spiritual, but I don't really practice a religion." Sometimes to me that's a little bit of a cop-out, right? So I think that those can be people who choose to want to be like that out of convenience, or people that could be a little bit confused. But I think that you could feel spiritual and yet not have that purely defined, where you say, I'm of this type of faith. So it could be, I think that it could be a transition, but ultimately I think someone who's spiritual will recognize and have an affinity towards a religion.
How do you think the church helps improve your life?
How does the church improve your life? Well, I think it's immense. I think not only does it serve to enrich us all, I think it provides spiritual guidance. It provides a great social environment around community and service. Humility, I think, is a very important. And it teaches us. Ultimately, it's a reminder to teach us the sacrifices of God, Jesus. How those sacrifices, and we have to recognize and honor that, and we need to live better lives. I have always said that, when they say, if life is hard, having faith, now imagine life, how hard it would be without it. So it is important, I think, and it's an important factor in our lives.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
Hey, what's up, Miguel? I got some questions to ask. Why is going to church important?
Because it lets you believe in God more, help your understanding grow.
Like, how does the church help the community?
It helps everybody kind of come together and become one with each other.
In your opinion, should you go to church every Sunday?
Yes, it helps you build your faith and relationship with God.
Do you think it's possible to be spiritual but not religious?
No, you have to be both to really truly believe in God.
How do you think the church helps improve your life?
Like I said, it kind of helps build your relationship. So I guess God kind of sees your commitment and He helps you out.
Lauren, why is going to church important?
Going to church is important because when going to church, we create a strong relationship with God.
How does the church help the community?
The church helps the community because it serves as a support system for everyone living in that community. It helps people not only emotionally, but also physically.
In your opinion, should you go to church every Sunday?
Yes, we should go to church every Sunday. As a practicing Catholic, it's what God calls us to do. It also helps us reflect on what we've done that week and helps us to prepare for the coming week.
Lauren, do you think it's possible to be spiritual but not religious?
I think that spirituality and religion go together, so it's very difficult to have one and not the other. I think our religion helps guide us in our spirituality.
How do you think the church helps improve your life?
Church helps me in my life because, as I previously said, it serves as a support system. It's a place to find guidance or to connect with God or even find strength at times.
I learned that people don't go to church a lot, that some people don't think they have to go to church, and people have different points of view about religion. Some similarities that I found were that people either think they have to go to church or think it doesn't matter to go. I was surprised that most people say they have to go to church because I thought they'd say no because they might think it's not that important.
The things I learned during the interviews are that everyone has a worldview, they're different for everyone, and a worldview makes you who you are. The similarities in the interviews were that everyone thought that the church is very important and that you should go every Sunday, which was also my biggest surprise. I would think that most people didn't think that you should go to church every
This
Sunday.
project, I learned that people don't go to church a lot. Some people think they don't have to go to church to have God in them, and that people have different points of views on religion and the church. Some similarities we found through this project is that people don't think they need to go to church to be with God and to have God with them. Something that surprised me about this project is that people said they did have to go to church to be with God, when I thought most of them would have said they don't have to go to church.